Today we're going to be talking about the righteous versus evil, God's response. So, alright, so let's do it. So we're just going to read Proverbs 3:29 to 35, and we're just going to read the verses. So I'm praying that this video will be a good video for you, and it'll help you find answers and stuff like that. So, yeah. Do not plan evil against your neighbor who dwells trustfully beside you. Do not contend with a man for no reason when he has done you no harm. Do not envy a man of violence, and do not choose any of his ways. For the devious person is abomination to the Lord, but the upright are in his confidence. The Lord's curse is on the house of the wicked. He blesses the dwelling of the righteous. Toward the scorners he is scornful, but to the humble he gives favor. The wise will inherit honor, but the fools get disgrace. Well, verse 29, we're going to go back to that verse. It says, do not plan evil against your neighbor who dwells trustfully beside you. So this is kind of just saying, if someone is trusting you and you're willing enough to plan evil against them, this could be really dangerous for your friend, because they trust you as a brother or a neighbor, and you're willing enough to cause evil towards them. That could be really dangerous for them. And after you commit that evil towards them, they're not going to trust you as much as a friend. They're going to have doubts. They're going to have fear. Even though you know that you're not going to cause evil, they could still not trust you. Verse 30 kind of goes really good with verse 29. It says, do not contend with a man for no reason when he has done you no harm. This is meaning your flesh is kind of feeling this desire to bully him for when he has done you no harm, like looking at his shoes or being like, oh, I don't like him because of the clothes he wears or what he wears and stuff. Or maybe it's the way they act you don't like. Instead, as followers of Christ, we should love everyone the way Christ loves us. It doesn't matter what their race is or what they wear or what they look like. It doesn't matter. We should all love everyone as much as Christ loved us. Verse 31 says, do not envy a man of violence, and do not choose any of his ways, for the devious person is an abomination to the Lord. This is meaning, don't start unnecessary conflict or arguments, especially if he has done no wrong to you, because this can lead to rumors, and people want to kind of be after you, and they want to, because they hear these false things that are happening and they don't like it, and they're kind of like wanting to go after you, and they want to try to hurt you and then murder you, and then you end up dead. So this is why we don't want to spread false rumors or false conflict or whatnot. You don't give in to payback, rather continue in your fruitful works and loving deeds, and avoid envy deeds. Romans 12:10 says, if it's possible, so far as it depends on you, live in peace with one another. Make the right choices, like being loving, kind, honor, and give to your neighbor if he is in need of food or whatnot. Verse 32 says, for the devious person is abomination to the Lord. This meaning God is disgusted with the devious people, but the upright are in his confidence. When God is referring to this, he's referring by the people who follow him, his followers, who avoid evil, who obeys God's commandments, trusting in God rather than going off and sinning. That's what verse 32 is kind of just saying. And verse 33 says, the Lord's curse is on the house of the wicked, but he blesses the dwelling of the righteous. This is meaning bad decisions get bad consequences. A lot of people say, why is your God so evil and stuff? Well, a lot of kids today say, I don't like my mom or my parents because they punish me and take away my phone all the time. This is kind of like the same way as how people look at God sometimes. They look at him like, oh, I don't like him because he's too evil. And sometimes kids look at their parents being like, I don't like him because they punish me too much. Because parents have to punish their kids to learn a lesson. Parents have to. This is how they learn. Exactly the way how God has to punish his children to learn. but he blesses the righteous. Meaning, when you're trying to avoid evil and bad decisions and evil deeds, God blesses you and he will reward you. Proverbs 6:20 says, "My son, keep your father's commandments and do not forsake your mother's teaching." This is meaning honor your father and mother for the parents that God gave you, or something like that. God mocks the proud mockers, but he is merciful to those who humble themselves and recognize they're in need for Jesus Christ. And that's amazing that God mocks the proud mockers. But if you are a mocker and you recognize that you are a mocker in need of Jesus Christ, God is merciful to you, and he is. Verse 35 says, "The wise will inherit honor, but the fools get disgrace. Those who fear God, seek his wisdom, and live righteously will receive honor from Christ and from others." Those who fear God, seek his wisdom, and live righteously will receive honor both from Christ and from others. But fools only get shame. Those who reject God's wisdom and live stubbornly in sin will end up in disgrace. Their choices lead to dishonor, regret, and immediately separation from God because you chose it. See, this is kind of meaning. This is what I'm saying right now. This is meaning that if you're living this world and you don't want God, but then you die and you're begging God, please, please, you're the one that chose that separation from God when you're living on earth. So it's just really good to start trusting in God when you're on earth and start become a Christian, because a lot of people say they're just gonna beg God on judgment day or just try to make an agreement with God and stuff. So I really hope this video helps you. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you learned something from me, and I want you to think about this passage this week. I want you to think about it, discuss and study it, and just dwell on it, just be like, what does this mean and stuff. So yeah, so rewatch it a bit. Maybe sometimes you can write notes down and stuff. So I'm hoping this video helped you a bit, and yeah, see you Friday.